Alrighty, so this is our fifth structures meeting. Thanks you all for coming out tonight. So today, mostly I just want to talk about fin can designs. I know that I said that I was giving y'all 2 weeks to have all your stuff situated. But Evan does have like a rough drawing that, is just his little idea. So he's going to go ahead and show us that. We're gonna talk more about how I would like to approach ClickUp. So I'll explain that there. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Xwinder. I think all of y'all were in the meeting on Tuesday, but we'll talk about the trade study that we're gonna go ahead and do. And then we will go ahead and talk about some assignments that I would like to give out. So Huang, I know you were asking Tuesday about our designs that we had so far. So this is our first one. Pretty much you would have your 4 individual sections. They would have like a little slot to put the fin in. You would screw the fin in, and then you would screw all of the sections to each other, and it would clasp the outside of the airframe. And then here was the second one that we had going on. This is, we would have 4 of these top left little fins, and then we would go ahead and slot the little purple shell on top of that and secure it in some way. So what I had assigned last week was for everyone to come up with a rough idea of either a modification of one of these or a method in securing them. And that is going to change a little bit potentially with the diameter difference that we might have. Evan, if you would like to explain your idea.
Okay, so yes, it looks a little rough right now, but I'm gonna have it catted by next week. But basically what it is like, it's gonna be like a little like a ring. It's kind of like a mount that sits on the airframe. And the way it's gonna work is like, it's more, I know we were having problems with saying like how we're gonna secure it versus a friction fit. So I was trying to see like if you had maybe have like empty space, like if the little empty space is going to be room for maybe something's going to be like a polycarbonate like a ring that would attach to the little ring that's in the middle, so you can actually like bolt it to the airframe itself rather than just having to have it be a friction fit. And also like I said, like the part that's going to be mainly taking like the most of the like ground force from like the weight of the fins and stuff is going to be like the bars that are the vertical bars. So that's where the fins are actually going to attach to. And then the you can at the bottom you see a little like the part that's going to fit into the little rectangular thing. It's not really a rectangle because it's a circle, but like you get what I'm saying. That's part's going to like, that's how it's going to like actually like secure itself to the airframe. And so I was thinking that that part can actually be the reason why why I wanted to show this, even though it was kind of early, is that it shows that we can have like 2 different like types of materials on for the fin can, instead of having it all be one, so that we can make it maybe more lightweight than the other ideas would be. That was kind of the main thought process with this one, because you have to have it be more it would have to be heavier on the part that's like the actual bars part where the fins are going to attach to, because it has to be like actually be structurally sound. But you can make the part that actually would clamp it onto the airframe be lighter, like I said, because polycarbonate is pretty light and there's also like a strong material. So if you wanted to use that, but that was just like where my thoughts process was at. I'm gonna have to refresh my CAD skills for this weekend and try and like actually give a mock-up. You can see this in a 3D view, but this is really just a early concept of where my brain's at right now.
Okay.
Just to interrupt, that on just the main body of the fins, right?
You
There's
said
no,
what?
I mean the main body of the can, right?
What was the question?
So you're just adding wings, like 4 wings to the sides, right?
Well, I mean, it can be adjusted to many how many like fins we want to have, but like I know it's like usually standard is like 3 or 4, but like that's right, like the drawing is like 4, but like if you want it, you can adjust it to like what we want. But yeah, that's pretty much the main body is going to be the part where the actual fins itself are going to be attached to.
Okay.
So, Evan, I guess just is that top, I guess, drawing the like a fin can that's gonna slide in, and then there's like a ring, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so actually, like, I don't know, I was thinking that it was gonna be not the middle part. I was gonna have it be just the part that would slide on top and not have the ring in the middle. But then I was trying to think about how I would, like, I guess, secure the panels that would, like, onto it. So, like, that's why I added that. But, like, I'm trying to, like, that's why I'm saying I'm not done with this yet. This is just, I just wanted to show, like, where I'm at. But, like, I don't think I need the middle ring. I just put that there because I think that would be a way, that's just a way I think I could secure. But I think you could also have it be, if you just, like, slide them in, it could,
I
it'd be a
think-
different type of friction fit, but, like,
I think the ring is good.
yeah, like, it could
Yeah,
work. I
something
just don't
diameter
know.
main body.
Yeah, I'm just trying
So
to think, like, how it would be
my
actually, like, secured.
I guess my concern is if there is a ring in the middle, what would that be bolting to? Because you can't have any hardware go into the rocket if
Yeah,
if we wanted to stay with the minimum diameter thing.
yeah. Um, yeah, that's a good point. Like, I'm saying, like, the ring doesn't have to be there. I realized today when I was finishing it that that I forgot that we're not, it's gonna be, since it is minimum diameter that's rocket, that there's not gonna be any room. But also I know that we're also contemplating increasing the size of it to what you said, like, was it 6 you said for
Yeah,
that?
at
So then
least
there,
5.5-ish
yeah,
inches,
so, like,
but
if
6
you,
would be easiest.
yeah, but, like, if you did that, then I think there would be slightly um more room to actually have something be bolted to it. But even at that, like, I think that it would work even without the ring idea. But that's where that part came in. It was like, if you're gonna increase the diameter from 4.
Well, I very much so look forward to seeing a CAD of it next week. You got time to freshen up on your skills and have something a little more for us.
Yeah.
And then we will, of course, have more people throwing their ideas out there. So for ClickUp, here's kind of what I want to do. I don't think it's beneficial for all of us to sit here and take the time out of the meeting to go, okay, here's every single minuscule thing that I can think of for a modular fin can. Here's everything that I can think of that we're gonna need. So something that I want to take more advantage of is talking outside of the meetings. So just messaging the chat and kind of going through there. I think that would be a better tool. I know that y'all don't get the notifications yet. I don't know when we're going to be instating that, but if y'all make any modifications to this, I do get a notification and I see whenever things are edited. So if I don't like it, I'll just modify it or whatever. But I want this, I want to finish a lot of what we need to do on ClickUp by, like, next week. I really do just want, I mean, it's not anything difficult. It's genuinely just, okay, what do we need to do? And then I'll just go ahead and figure out when deadline should be for a lot of the things that we have. I have added 2 more things to ClickUp. I have added the trade study that we are working on that is going to be due the 22nd. And then I also have the X-Winder documentation, which I'll talk more about shortly. But yeah, so are y'all okay with just being more consistent with messaging and being able to communicate on Discord? And then, just checking in on ClickUp every once in a while. By the way, y'all do have y'all do have access now outside of just the guest access. Except for you, Huang, if you want to go ahead and send me your email, I will add you at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, I'm about to ask. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is ClickUp. For the X-Winder, Huang, I don't know if you know or not, the X-Winder is what we're using to make our our own airframes pretty much. So we take this little guy back here and wind fiberglass through like epoxy and like wind it onto this we call it a mandrel. Right now it's just an aluminum rod. And we're over the semester want to experiment with different sized mandrels. Go ahead.
You guys build the material you guys choosing is aluminum?
The rod that it's built on is aluminum, but the
Yeah.
product itself is just like fiberglass and epoxy.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought you guys are going to do the main body is aluminum.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is something that we'll be doing a lot throughout the semester, is working with this bad boy over here. We're still trying to plan whenever we're going to remove it off. Here's what we've done previously is literally just strap it to a pole, one side to a car, and just yank. And it's worked. It's manageable. So I wouldn't be opposed if we like have to go that route, but I would just rather find something that seems a little more professional and like thought out. So yeah, and then I'll talk more on that when it comes to the dry ice idea. We also need to go ahead and do a purchase order, which I mean, I haven't started it yet, but I'll show y'all how to do the purchase order. I'll probably just post it on the Discord chat and just be like, hey, like this is the purchase order, here's how we do it.
Just a heads up, I live on campus, so pretty close to where it is. Like, I think this is on campus, right?
This is on campus.
So the right video was done in SR or SR1, the research building, and then the one on the left is actually not us, but that's a very good picture from a report. I can't remember what school, like Minnesota or something, of them making their own tubing, pulling it with a car.
So it's not only us that is having the problem of removing epoxy?
Yeah,
Mm.
not only us, most industrial applications, I think, just literally use a winch with that same kind of idea. They have like a puller plate, which is
Mhm.
essentially the same size as the outer diameter of the mandrel, and then they just tug on it like a
Okay.
winch.
So that is something we'll be working with a lot, and we need to once we decide how we want to remove it, we need to plan a date to meet up and remove it. It's not going to be like a mandatory thing where like every single one of y'all needs to show up. Just if you want to be there, then be there. Pretty much.
How damaged does it get when you like does it get damaged at all? Like when you pull it with the car? Just the question. No.
Not that I remember.
So I think the first wind, or okay, to start off with, all of the equipment for the X winder was gifted to us by a company called DaVinci Labs or DaVinci Maker Labs, and it was sitting in the lab for a good minute before we ever decided to use it. And when we wanted to use it, we realized that the aluminum tube that was like the aluminum mandrel that was in the lab for us to use had a bunch of like welds and stuff on it, and just it was all dinged up, which makes it even harder because any kind of nick or like imperfection on the surface of the mandrel makes it
You need that.
significantly harder to pull off. Yeah. So what we've done is just I'm sorry, I don't remember what the question was.
I was just asking if it like ever gets damaged when you try to pull off with the car.
Right. So when we first tried to take it off, it was really stuck because of like the nicks and imperfection. So we ended up cutting the unfinished piece of tubing off of the mandrel, which damaged it some more. So what we've done so far is just pull it, which seems to work, but not really damage it any more than cutting it off with.
Small questions. Do you guys have a specific date that you're meeting up in a lab?
I will post a when to meet whenever whenever I feel like we're ready to remove it. I'll post a when to meet, and we'll see when people are available to do that.
Yeah.
Either that or if it gets to a point, I'll just be like, hey, I'm going this day and doing it, so be there or be square. If
Because
it comes to that.
yeah, because even if even Gus is like describing right now, I cannot imagine it. So I have to see it. Yeah.
We'll make sure to record it this time.
There is a video of a previous attempt on the old drive. For sure then.
Yeah, you should have access to the old drive, but I can always share it with you if you want to see it at all, like any of the old structure stuff from last year. All right, so the trade study. This is our #1 priority right now. This is going to be the #1 priority for pretty much all of the teams right now, all the sub teams. So the decision is between whether we want to get the extra 50 points by going to the CubeSat standards, and which will put us at least 5.5 inches, but we've kind of already mentioned that 6 inches would just be more practical to go with if we're gonna do that. And then something else that we get to consider is whether we want to do a 4-inch rocket and then just have a 6-inch area for the payload. So that is a fun little thing that we get to consider, is a non-uniform diameter. So just because we would be, if we do go to 6 inches, that doesn't promise us that we don't have to do an external fin canister, because that would still be a something we would debate with propulsion. Because if we go to the 6 inches, they're going to need more firepower, and so they were talking about just doing a 6-inch motor and giving propulsion that option. So, you know, going to 6 inches doesn't guarantee that we now get to, you know, consider having a internal canister. But it would be nice to modify them to accommodate that if we go that route. So that is the trade study, and that was going to be due the 22nd, the day before school. Just so then we can share it with the with Irvin and Gus, and then they'll probably have a decision by that Tuesday for the general meeting, or sometime within that week. All right, so here's our new little thing that we'll be doing. I would love it if I could just assign like out of meeting tasks to get done, and we could, you know, have that done within like a week or two. Because I would very much so like a few things to be done before school starts. Especially with us kicking into high gear with like recruitment, everyone getting accommodated to their classes. I don't want anything to be left on a shelf to be worked on, you know, much slower than we can just knock out in the summer.
Okay.
So the first, sorry, did someone say something?
Just to be clarified. So we need to report like how much loading we have like for school years, like what class we have, things.
No, whenever the semester starts, once you kind of understand what your schedule is and everything, I'll send out a when to meet, and we'll probably be doing maybe something along the lines of, you know, 1 online meeting a week and then 1 in-person meeting a week. And the in-person meeting wouldn't require all of us, most likely. It'll probably just be like little things here and there. We might even just have if some people are working on certain things, we'll just have them meet at the lab. So it wouldn't have to be all of us meeting in person every single week. Then all of us together would be online. But we'll send out a separate when to meet for everyone's availability at that point.
Yeah.
No, so you're good. Don't expect that we're going to conflict with classes at all.
Yeah.
We'll work around that. School comes first. So.
Okay, that's good.
So assignment wise, we did start that X-Winder documentation for like the step-to-step guide. And I really want that to just get knocked out. It shouldn't be anything that takes very long. But it's just something where you do have to like sit down and do it. So the only ones here, I mean, most of us here have worked with the X-Winder. would anyone be willing to work with me on just knocking out the X-Winder documentation? And yeah, Evan, you down for that? Oh, Gustavo, you down for that?
Oh, sorry.
I'm down
can't
if I
anymore.
know things. Yeah,
Kwong, the documentation is more so for you to read to understand it. So I wouldn't expect you to sit with us and, figure it out. It's more so something that we would present to you as someone who hasn't
If
worked
you
with
need
it
another pair
before.
of eyes,
Huh?
if you need another pair of eyes, I can help as well.
Okay, well, that would be great. Since I will kind of be spread between everything, whoever gets tasked to the X-Winder documentation, you will kind of be expected to do, most of it. So just know that if I'm giving you this assignment or task, that like I'm expecting you to like have time to like work on it and like meet to like talk to each other.
right.
I mean,
That's
me and
okay
Nick
with
will
the
be
two of y'all?
living, we'll be living in
Yeah.
the same apartment by
yeah.
Saturday, so it'll be all good.
Yeah. Also, you guys are always welcome to ask me. Just shoot me a message whenever, and I'll pop in whenever I have a minute to work with you
Also,
guys.
didn't we write like some preliminary stuff at the
Oh, yeah,
last
for
time?
sure.
So, like,
That's actually in the drive. I can show you where in the drive in a sec once
Alright.
I go through the rest of the slides, which I think this is like my second to last one. So yeah, X-Winder documentation trade study is going to be kind of like a mostly an all hands on deck situation. Just because since that's taking #1 priority, and there's a few things for us to consider, it would be pretty helpful to have everyone getting tidbits of information to contribute to that. For the modular fin canisters, I know that I already assigned that last week to everyone, so there would be no point to have one person focus on that now because I've already assigned that to y'all. But next week, I am expecting some ideas. So I hope y'all have, been doing a little something here and there like Evan has, just to help us all out and have some ideas out there. It would be a big help. And then I know Ali has already said that he would love to communicate with, was it avionics or analysis? Analysis, okay. So Ali, I don't particularly want to just assign you to communicate with everyone. But if you would love to be our person for like avionics and analysis, that'd be great. And then, I can divvy up the rest of the sub teams to everyone else. Especially if you have like a partial interest in a different sub team, it would be a good chance to get some communication there. So do any of y'all have a partial interest in a different sub team that you want to go ahead and be our communication for that sub team?
I was gonna ask a question first, if you don't mind me asking.
Feel free.
So like, I know since we're starting to divvy up work, like, could it also be like the people who are working on like a specific thing, like the person who's going to be like working on like, or since we're all like having some ideas, but like I guess like after like we present our ideas, like we're going to be focusing more on the canister, like they would like be probably like working with like propulsion or something, since they're like working around like where the motor is and stuff, like that kind of thing, or just like whoever's like interested wherever.
Can you say that one more time? Because my Wi-Fi was a little spotty in that, so
Yeah.
I didn't hear it consistently.
Like I was just basically asking like depending on like what aspect of like structures like we're doing at the time, like that would be like the person, like whoever's like in charge of that part would be like with that sub team. So like if whoever's focusing more on the modular fin canister, because I know we're presenting ideas next week, but like after that, like whoever's like focusing mainly on that, like that'd probably be like someone who would talk with like propulsion and analysis. Or like once we get like closer up to like the nose cone area, they'd be probably working with like recovery and stuff like that. Or like is that how you kind of want to divvy it up, or it's gonna be like whoever's just interested in what? That's what I was just kind of clarifying.
Yeah, well, I kind of figured that whoever would be interested in talking to those sub teams would also be the person that would probably want to take on those tasks more so. So my assumption more so lies in if someone does want to deal with like how much space we need for the nose cone and everything, that person, or I guess if someone is interested in recovery, that person would then discuss with recovery how much space we need for them in there, and that person would then, relay that to us and kind of throw out some ideas in that regard.
Also, I can throw in that even though some of these tasks might be, I guess, tasked to different people, like assigned to different people, y'all are free to work together and like ask each other questions about your tasks, like on your own time. Discussion about Rocket Team doesn't have to be like limited only to weekly meetings. Y'all are free to ask me questions, Haley questions, or just yourselves, just work within yourselves at any time throughout the week. It's fair game.
Yeah, so let's see, sub teams that we have going on are analysis, we got avionics, we got propulsion, we have recovery, we have payload, we have, what am I forgetting?
I think that's it.
Is the payload team gonna be us or the capstone people?
It will not, we, I
Hasn't
guess,
been
don't know
decided
yet.
yet.
Oh, okay.
So for payload, Irvin and I are still looking at all our options. It could either be a capstone team or like I guess like a little task force within SCR, just anybody who's like willing to pitch in on that. But the only other sub team I guess would be SRED Propulsion, but they're working on their own thing.
So let's go ahead and just divvy up who would like to communicate where. If this changes throughout the semester, it's no big deal as long as we communicate who that's changing to. So
Small questions. What is the difference between propulsion and SRAE propulsion?
that's SRAD propulsion. There are student research analysis development.
Can I take it?
So
Okay.
there is another
So
team.
yes, there are two propulsions at the moment within SCR. Right now there is 6 sub teams, 7 if you include payload, but we don't really have anybody working there so far. This is structures, one of the 6. And the other ones, except for SRED propulsion, will be working on Zenith, our 30K rocket. So avionics, analysis, COTS propulsion, which is commercial off-the-shelf propulsion, and recovery are all working on Zenith, 30K rocket. We have another project that we want to start, which is a longer term project that's going to be not for this competition, but maybe the next one or the one after that. And the project is to produce a hybrid rocket engine. So you're using both solid fuel and liquid oxidizer being injected into the engine. And it's called SRAD, so Student Research and Design. So it's going to be a motor that's completely developed by the team instead of something that is commercially bought.
So yeah, SRAD propulsion isn't really someone we should have to communicate with too often, but if we happen to, we can just have someone there just in case. So, who wants to talk to propulsion? Don't everyone talk at once.
I'm not necessarily saying I won't want to say do propulsion, but if you want to write someone down for recovery, you can put me down.
You're trying to be recovery?
I mean,
Oh, Mitch seems a little upset by that.
hey,
Only, all
you should
right.
have spoke up sooner. That's all I'm saying.
Well, she asked for propulsion, so.
Well, you gotta ask for what you want, homie.
I can share the work with Ali on the analysis.
Okay. Well, I'll
Yes, I'll
just
do avionics.
You wouldn't mind?
Okay. I don't know if there's a point in having two people communicate with analysis.
Hmm.
I don't want there to be miscommunication between you and the other person communicating with them, or analysis have to explain everything twice.
I say just go ahead and give it to Hong because he has a lot of experience with FEA already. So that's probably the best bet.
I can do avionics.
Mitch, you'll do avionics.
Yeah.
Ali, I know you wanted to do analysis, so what would you like to do now?
If you want to take avionics, go for it.
It's gonna go to Ali, just because he's already been saying for a few weeks that he wanted analysis or avionics to communicate with them. So
It's fine.
Mitch, if you want, you can go ahead and take SRAD propulsion and normal propulsion because that's where the heat's at. I mean, that's where the real cool stuff is.
Sure.
Everything else is really just it's like a project, but what makes a rocket
Is
is
yeah,
really going on there.
right.
And Mitch knows I'll help him with stuff anyway, so.
Yeah, that's probably true.
and then payload is TBD because they're not even established yet. So yeah, awesome. I quite like divvying that up.
Oh, when do you want
Um,
like communication to like start?
If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the leads of the respective teams and just let them know, hey, do you have anyone that is assigned to communicate with structures? If so, who is that? If not, then I'm just letting you know that I am communicating with your sub team. Just reach
And-
out just so they're also aware of who to be expecting to contact mostly.
Does everybody know who like the sub team leads are, just in case everyone doesn't know who they are?
Ravi for the analysis, right?
Yeah, I'm just making
Ravi,
sure everyone
yeah,
knows who you're
so-
supposed to contact.
Huang,
Mhm.
Ravi, Ali, V, Mitch, Tala, Mitch, Ozzy, Evan,
Carlos.
Carlos, and TBD.
One other thing is a lot of what the teams do is recapped every week in the weekly meetings. So maybe, well, I know, what's it called? Analysis. Their meeting was hosted 30 minutes before y'all, so it interferes a little bit. And propulsion is 30 minutes after y'all. So, or I guess COTS propulsion is 3 minutes after y'all. So it conflicts a little bit. But if you guys can make those meetings at all, or like just watch like rewinds, or I guess the recordings of each one of those meetings, you guys will be very in the know of everything they're doing.
I think Tala is actually not meeting this week, and she said she was just posting a recording.
That is true.
So that recording will be available. Mitch, if you at all want to view on that. Huang, you want to say something?
Uh,
You
so
seemed eager to say something.
yeah. I think the analysis meeting on Teams, right? And
Yes.
I hear once like the recording is in the team chat.
Yes,
you do not
I
have
can
access
add you.
to.
I can
Yeah.
add you to Teams right now.
Yeah.
I also took care of adding Huang to ClickUp, Haley. So no need to worry.
Man, I think I'm gonna bother you guys a lot since I need a lot of update for this.
No, please. I enjoy when people ask questions because one, it gives me an excuse to talk about rockets, and two, it gets you guys up to speed faster.
Wow. You need an excuse to talk about
Not to
rocket.
mention, it's recap if everyone else wants to missed a meeting or if anyone, just forgot over the week. If you have a forgetful imagination or not imagine, if a forgetful memory like I do, recaps are always nice.
And then recovery meets on Tuesdays, right? Or I could be wrong about that.
I literally have no idea.
Recovery meets on. They've changed a little bit. Let me tell you what they've. Sunday at 6 was the last one. Yeah. I think they've been meeting consistently on Sundays.
I think analysis is contact for, let's see, their contact is Amy. Am I correct in that? Because she contacted me last week. Because analysis is currently was working on the stress strain test results that we had conducted last year. We had gone to the lab and it was conducted for us. And so they were just kind of asking what we wanted out of that information. So that is kind of what you can expect when it comes to communication. And I can tell you what her Discord was. Let's see. Oh, well, maybe it's Omar and her. Yeah, just contact Ravi and see which one of them you're supposed to talk to, because it seems like Ravi might have 2 people doing that or working on the stress strain stuff right now.
I'm not certain.
So yeah, Huang, if you just want to contact Ravi, and then if all y'all just want to contact the respective sub-team lead and figure out if there's a certain person you're supposed to contact or if you should be contacting the sub-team lead directly. But heads up, if you're contacting them on Discord, you will need to add them as a friend or whatever if you want to contact them, DM. Okay, and then there was something else that I was supposed to show y'all. Was it on the drive from currently or last year?
The separation or like the mandrel pull.
Well, I was thinking the documentation for the X-Winder. Let's see.
It is in the previous year's stuff.
Oh, that's where you put it?
Oh, for this year?
The one that we started in the lab.
Found it somewhere. I think it's tutorial videos.
You can.
Oh. What an odd place for it. Let's put it back in structures and find a home for it. This can go to technical.
Yes.
That seems like a good place for it for now. So it is going to be in the drive, Zenith, structures, and technical. And yeah, this is what we have so far for the manual. So far I think we only got the checklist for equipment and everything, which by the way, we should probably put a tire in there as well. Like expecting like lab coat, gloves, closed-toed shoes, things like that. Just something to add in there. So that is that. And then the video from last semester, if it puts a little pop-up down, how can I make that just go away?
The share screen pop-up thing.
Yeah, it's okay. It went away. Okay, so last semester's sub-teams, structures. Xwinder.
Wait, hold up. Can you move back on one side? Can you move back like one? Yeah, one more. Where'd you get the MEMS like 5605?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure where everything on here came from.
That honestly, I might have put that there. Can you check who the owner is? Left click in info. View details. A little higher up.
Wine. Oh, there it is.
Ravi owns it.
Ah,
I'm not sure where it came from.
okay. I can look it up on that.
So this is, I guess here's their little purchase thing they had going on. And here's what it looks like. I don't see the video for the poll though.
It's probably somewhere in the media folder for structures.
Here's our compression test. This is a fun little. I don't see it, but that's okay. We'll be doing it again, so it ain't no thing. Were there any other questions? I guess I'll go ahead and start the document for the trade study and for the payment order or the purchase order. So those two documents I'll get started up, and then I'll be sure to share them on the Discord so y'all know where to find them. And then from that point, I will be messaging. I won't try to at y'all every single time. I'm not trying to blow up your phones with at structures every single time. But whenever I share the documents, I'll go ahead and at y'all so you know that they're there. And Mitch, Evan, if y'all want to communicate a time or just work on it throughout whenever, or just message me later as to like what exactly the expectations are or anything if you're confused, just message the structures chat.
Will do.
It's the structure chat or like you individually?
The structures chat, just so kind of everyone's on the same page if they want to be.
You kind of like froze, so I couldn't understand what you said, but
As long as you're not like asking me like too many questions, I would say you can just message the structures chat. But if you feel like you have like a lot of questions and you're like really confused, then yeah, just go ahead and DM me. Just because I'm not trying to blow up everyone's Discord, because all of the leads and everything, we have access to all the other sub teams. So I'm not trying to blow them up with structured messages.
also like I know next week is when we're like putting all of our ideas together, but so when do you want this done by that meeting as well, or when do you want the documentation done by?
Okay, so the documentation, Xwinder stuff, yes, I would like that done by next week. I'm not saying that I expect it to be done in a day, but it really is not enough work to say to give it more than that. So I think 1 week should be plenty of time. Are y'all okay with that?
Yeah, for sure. After I move in on Saturday, we should have plenty of time to get it worked out.
Awesome. Is Wednesdays or Thursdays better for y'all when it comes to the meeting? If I host it on Wednesday, that does give y'all the chance to actually host other people's meetings on Thursdays.
Wednesday, but what day? I mean, what time?
Same time, usually 7 or 7:30 is when I like to host it.
Okay, with it.
Would this continue through the like normal school year?
I'll have to send out a whole new when to meet for the school year, because we'll be having like new members and then people will have their school schedules. I expect things to change by that point.
Okay.
But for the remainder of the summer, can y'all, are y'all okay with Wednesday next week?
Yeah, Wednesday works for me.
I love that I say remainder of the summer, like I don't have one more meeting before the summer is over.
And you
Okay.
reminded me that school's gonna start soon.
Is there any other questions? Because if not, I'll go ahead and
I do have a question. I know Evan and Mitch are doing the Xwinder documentation stuff, but who's working on the trade study for the mandrel or the airframe diameter, and when is that expected to be worked on?
everyone else, whenever I go ahead and whenever I go ahead and start up the documentation for the trade study, I'm gonna go ahead and go through and kind of just say like, okay, here's one thing we need to look at, here's another thing we need to look at, here's another thing we need to look at, and I'll just go ahead and message people and say, hey, which part of this would you like to tackle? And everyone will just claim which bit of the trade study they would like to handle. But because I did not get the chance yet to start the trade study, I don't have any little sections to give to people. So that's something that I'll be messaging the Discord, and then if I don't get a response, I'll DM y'all and ask which section.
Also, I don't know if this got answered or not, but like what exactly is a trade study? You know, like if
Trade study is a manner of weighing your options. So sometimes you'll have like a decision matrix, something like that, where you'll just go through all of your pros and cons of your options. Right now we have like, I guess technically 3 options, because we have the 4-inch diameter, the 6-inch diameter, or the mixture of both. So those are our 3 options, and we're going to kind of go through and be like, okay, what do we like about this? What could we do with this? You know, does this make something easier? And then, you know, kind of debate that throughout the 3 options. Like, is this even achievable? Just because it's easier, can we actually do it? You know?
I would say I have a question about the modular fin canister. About the ideas we brainstormed a week or 2 ago, are they still on the table, or do I still need to think of a few others? Because first we discussed the actual clamps, maybe at the top or at the bottom if need be, or the other option where we're talking about the bolt, and then Gustavo added on to it with the bolts, or adding the glue option. Is that still something possible or not?
I think it's still on the table, but as I guess it's been talked about a little bit with the trade study that needs to be written, whether to expand the entire airframe, maintain a section of the airframe.
Yeah, because then if we do expand it, will we have a little bit space for
Yes.
bolt head to be in there or so, to be going
Yes.
outward? Okay.
If we were to go to a 6-inch diameter airframe,
Right,
and maintain our 98 millimeter or 4-inch motor on the inside, that gives an inch of either side of the motor for
that's a lot of
hardware.
space. Okay.
Yes, so you could have I guess bolts, or like a centering ring or a bulkhead at the top of the motor, or just anything like that.
Awesome. Then I'll stick with that idea. If that's not gonna happen, I'll try to think of a few others. Appreciate it.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I kind of just want to hear what everyone has to say, even if it's a rough idea. I just want to hear it all next week. I just want people to just throw things out there, but keep it kind of concise, because I don't want to, talk 20 minutes on like every single potential design idea. Just something to kind of recap, like, hey, here's a little bit of this idea. Hey, here's a little bit of this idea. So here was a trade study from last year, or from last semester, that was done. So they kind of go through, you're like, okay, what are we tackling?
Haley, I think this is a great example, or I guess this is an easy example of a trade study, but the later ones are probably a little bit better, because this was our first trade study.
Which one was the last one?
Do the Payload fasteners.
All right. So here was one that I think this is the one that me and you worked on.
Yes.
Okay. So this is whenever we were trying to figure out what we should go with to secure the payload. Because the plastic rivets that we had used previously sheared on impact. And so we realized that we had made a wrong decision because there was a previous trade study before this that chose the plastic rivets.
Which was the other one?
Huh?
Which was the other one, the previous one that we pulled up?
Yeah. So just because something's decided on, there might be factors that we didn't fully consider, and so we did another one. So we said, why are we doing this? What are our decisions? We went through and we decided what all of our categories would be as to what we were considering. We came up with all of our options that we wanted to consider. And then we decided what exactly are we judging on most. So these right here were more so just to understand what we were working with, what we were expecting. And then down here we have, are we going with this or not? So we decided that the efficacy mattered most. We went through, we said, okay, cost, implementation, weight, and then we went through and we did a decision matrix weighing all of those. And then of course, our decision. Let's see, and then here was the decision matrix. So, you got to obviously have your reasoning for everything. You got to make sure that you do your research for each of them. So I'll just go ahead and get the template going. I'll work on it between today and tomorrow and post it before I go to work tomorrow. So we can just have that ready to be worked on. I will be most free to work on it Saturday afternoon night, that time frame right there. So if y'all are free Saturday night, I'd be totally cool with hopping on like a Discord and working on it or something, because that is why we have the Discord there. It doesn't need to be an official meeting if we're just hopping on and working on this. Yeah, and then I'll just go ahead and say when I'm working on it, or anyone can message the Discord and say when they're working on it, and can always just hop on a Discord. That's why it's there. We have our channels for us to sit there and just chat while we're working on it and discuss everything. So if that's okay with y'all, that is kind of the game plan. So yeah, if anyone's free to meet Saturday, I will let y'all know at what point in time I'm gonna hop on and be free, and I'll probably be working on it most of Saturday night, and then just throughout the week after that. But I'll let y'all know when I'll be working on it. I'll always message in the chat before I start working on it. Cool. If everyone is good, I'm totally okay with the, I feel confident that we kind of understand where we're at right now. All right, talk to you later, Ali. I'm totally okay with kind of ending this here. I feel like we all understand what's kind of to be expected over the next week. If anyone isn't sure what they can be working on, totally just message the Discord and I will have no problem filling your free time. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or concerns? Beautiful. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it, but did I mention Easton, that I just want you over the next week to kind of just look at how likelihood the potential of dry ice is and kind of I don't think I mentioned that. I kind of forgot.
Yeah, I can do that.
I loved the glimpse of the cat. Thank you. It really made my night.
Is she not on there?